Okay, good morning everyone. Hope you are all doing well, enjoying the sunshine. My name is Reynolds Boyd with Southland International Trucks. I'm going to be hosting our meeting today. First and foremost, I've got everyone on the call muted. So first and foremost today, we're going to talk about resources that are available through Southland and through Navistar or International. We've done our introduction. The first thing we'll do is go into a quick primer on telematics and the data that's available through those systems. We're going to review which customers could utilize the resources that we're talking about, and a hint is going to be for everyone. We'll talk about the two primary resources that are being utilized today and some example use cases. And those two primary resources are OnCommand Connection and International 360. We'll also talk about some additional resources that are new and available to our customers as well, and those are advanced preventive maintenance and fleet health monitoring. We'll also talk about a guide and next steps for any customers that want to get signed up and utilize these programs, and then answer any questions and then close. Today we're going to try to make the call about 30 minutes. I don't want to bore you guys to death. I'm sure everyone would rather be outside enjoying the sunshine that we have and the warm temperature. But we do encourage you to stick with us through this. And again, you see my telephone number listed on the screen here. If you have any questions, please just shoot me a text to that number with your name and your question. So first, our primer on telematics. Why equip trucks with telematics if they're not already equipped? Many of your over-the-road truck fleets are already using telematics. You're familiar with the dispatch systems, maybe Omnitrax, PeopleNet, Rand McNally, and the like. Well, there's a need to also equip other trucks with telematics that may not have those big, quote, fleet systems. And the reason is it provides a GPS location to you as a fleet manager and real-time data from your truck. And when I say real-time data, we're talking data from the actual chassis, the engine, the transmission. All of the electronic modules on the truck are able to send data back to a portal for you to utilize to generate reports, do action plans, and overall information that's going to allow you as a fleet and a fleet manager, fleet owner, to be proactive. So who are some of the telematics providers? We've already mentioned the big ones, the PeopleNet, Rand McNally, and Omnitrax. But you also have companies such as Geotab, Samsara, and even Navistar International offers a telematics device that's available through our parts department. And any of those telematics devices can be used with the resources we're going to talk about today. Now, that's not the limit of telematics providers. There are many, many telematics providers in the industry. Okay. How are telematics installed for your trucks? Most telematics systems simply connect to the 9-pin diagnostic connector for both power and data. It doesn't necessarily require an in-depth installation of antennas and modules and all these things. Most simply connect up to that 9-pin for both power and data and are mounted underneath the dash of the truck. Very clean and simple. So, can I equip just one truck or a few trucks with telematics? Absolutely. We have quite a few customers that have just 2 trucks that we have put telematics systems on and work with the resources that we're going to cover today. Do all of the resources that we're going to talk about today require telematics? No, they do not. We're going to talk about one resource, International 360, which is a communication tool. It does not require telematics. However, it is very beneficial if your truck is equipped. So, our question, are these resources we're going to talk about, are they for everyone? Who can utilize these resources? Fleets of all sizes, even if your fleet is simply one truck, can utilize the resources we're going to cover. All vocations, whether you're a line haul, dump truck, a municipality, utility, severe service, heavy haul, pickup delivery, van truck, it doesn't matter. If you run a commercial truck, you can benefit from these resources. What are these resources being used for? We've already mentioned the ability to proactively monitor your fleet for faults and other issues. But it also allows you to react to when a driver calls in and says, hey, I've got an issue, or have a dash light on. You can also use these resources to communicate with servicing international dealers through a web portal. And again, we'll be showing some examples as we move forward. You can use this data from your telematics, and overall these resources, it will and it does improve your uptime, and it does reduce the operating costs for your fleet. Will all resources be useful for your business? Maybe, maybe not. What I'm going to show you today are resources that may or may not benefit you, but I have a strong suspicion that these resources will work very well for any size business and for any customer. Okay. So, what are the two resources that we're going to discuss? The first one is OnCommand Connection, and if you've joined some of our meetings we've had in person here at Southland, or some of our virtual events in previous months, you know we've talked about OnCommand Connection. This tool and resource has been around for, I believe, a little over 6 years now, and it has evolved and it's become a tremendous tool for monitoring the fleet. The new resource is International 360, and that's the block you see there on the right. The International 360 is used as a communication tool for communicating with a servicing international dealer. So, in the grand scheme, what you have are two resources that you can use to help and support your fleet. OnCommand Connection allows you to be proactive and a little bit reactive and decide, do you need to bring a truck in for service? Okay. Once you've made that decision and you need to bring your truck in for service, you can utilize International 360 to schedule that with your servicing international dealer, and you also use it to communicate with that servicing dealer and monitor the status of the repair on your truck. So, let's start with the first one. Let's talk about OnCommand Connection. First and foremost, this tool utilizes telematics. So this really does require telematics to be on your truck. And that is taking that raw telematics data from an entire fleet and turning it into actionable insights for you as a fleet manager or fleet owner. It's going to provide you with fault code descriptions and severity ratings for those faults. In other words, you can decide if it's something that needs to bring the truck off the road immediately, or is it something that can allow that truck to operate and continue to run. You can also see suggested parts needed by fault or VIN number. So you specifically look at a particular truck and a particular fault, the OCC OnCommand Connection will tell you which parts you may need to complete that repair. The tool will also link, because we have the GPS location of the truck, regardless of where it is in the U.S., it will show you the nearest international dealer that has the suggested parts to make that repair. We've talked about the integration and the telematics providers that are in the industry. As of to date, we have 28 plus telematics providers that are integrated and work to share data to this OnCommand Connection tool and resource. Again, Rand McNally, PeopleNet, OmniTrack, Samsara, Geotab, International. There are 28 plus of those telematics providers that will work with this tool. This tool also works with all makes and all models. This is not something that is specific to only international. You can take your entire fleet, whatever the product mix, and have this tool work for you. So, how would you use OnCommand Connection? You can review your entire fleet for issues. Again, show only trucks that are requiring service or maintenance. You can review specific fault details by truck, by module, whether it's engine or transmission, body control, or ABS system. See the status and the count for that fault. Navistar also puts together inside of that fault a fault code action plan that is auto-generated by then and that specific fault. So it's very tailored to the specific truck. So if you look at it, you're taking your entire fleet and drilling down to one truck, one fault, and seeing what that issue, how you would want to resolve that. You also set up geofences and daily reports. So you can set up geofences around your specific yard or locations and set up daily reports that can be emailed to your team to determine if you have trucks with faults or need required service. Respond quickly to driver concerns because, again, you see the real-time fault in the action plan and make that decision. Can that truck run or not? Do I need to tow it or not? And that's part of reducing the operating cost. If you can save an $800 tow bill, that goes to your bottom line. In the end, you're accessing and have access to all the details. When you have GPS on your truck with telematics, you know the issue with the truck, the fault, and the location. Within OnCommand Connection, you have access to all the details. You can see all of the service providers, not just international dealers. You can see all of the service providers, all the OEMs, tire companies, towing, hotels, and services that are near that truck. That way you can schedule that truck in for repair and have access. If I blow a tire, you can use OCC. Where's the truck? What's the nearest Goodyear dealer? That tool and resource will show it to you. And as mentioned earlier, for the international dealers, you can even see which dealers have the suggested parts in stock by that fault. So let's look at some example uses for OnCommand Connection. First off, where's my truck? That one's kind of obvious. Okay? You can use the tool to see where's my truck currently and which direction is he headed. You can look at that fault and decide, do I down my truck? Should I tow my truck or allow to operate? We've already gone through that example. Okay? What service providers are near my truck? We've talked about the tire. We've talked about getting it to an international dealer for service. Cummins locations or in other OEMs. Is there an international dealer nearby who has the suggested parts in stock? Well, if an international dealer that's closest to the truck, maybe they don't have the suggested parts in stock, but you have another international dealer that may be a few miles down the road, that allows you to make an informed decision of where you want to schedule your truck in for service. Do I have trucks on my yard or at a terminal or a location that need attention? To me, that's one of the most powerful tools inside OnCommand Connection is to set up a geofence, that virtual fence around a yard, and show only the trucks inside that fence that have actionable faults. It's almost like having a diagnostic computer connected to every truck every minute of the day. And if you can take your yard and identify 2 or 3 trucks that you want to make a repair on before you send them out on a haul or run or what have you, that minimizes your en route breakdowns because you're being proactive in making those repairs. You can also look for trends for a certain fault on a group of trucks. Maybe you've noticed over the past couple of weeks, couple of months, you've seen some faults that you're now seeing a trend on. You can set up a fault family and only look for certain faults on your entire fleet and set up a report based upon that. We've talked about the example of the trucks being on a yard or terminal with actionable faults. One of the interesting cases we've had, because we read all modules through telematics, we are actually reporting and showing when headlights are out on trucks. And that's one of the simplest repairs that you can make is replacing a headlight bulb on a truck. We can tell you high beam, low beam, left or right. If that's out, go replace that headlight before it gets out and makes a run. And that may save a potential DOT violation. You can also utilize OnCommand Connection to see if there are any open international recalls or campaigns on your trucks. You can take an entire fleet, 200, 300 trucks. Again, maybe you have 2 trucks. Check that box and look and see if you have any open campaigns from international on your truck. So again, any questions? Please feel free. There's my telephone number at the bottom of the screen. You can text me your questions and we'll do our best here to answer it. So that was OnCommand Connection. Let's move on to the second resource that we've started off here with, and that was International 360. We have customers that are utilizing International 360 and having very, very good results. The tool is used to communicate with international dealers, not just Southland, but all international dealers throughout the U.S. Okay? This tool is going to allow you to monitor the repair status and reduce the amount of phone calls and interactions with the dealership because it's all in a portal and it's all transparent across both your team as well as our team, the service and dealers team. You'll also have the ability to review and see online estimates and provide approvals. All the data from OnCommand Connection we've talked about already gets integrated and pulled into 360 when we set up what we'll see in a moment called a repair card. And you'll also have links to the International Dealer Parts and Inventory. And as with OnCommand Connection, International 360 is another tool that is all makes and all models. So, using 360. With 360, you can choose as a customer to submit a request prior to the arrival to an international dealer. This is going to allow you to open up the 360 portal, choose your truck, and document the faults, the details, and the complaints. Choose the dealer that you're sending it to, and provide an estimated time of arrival. That way, when the truck does arrive at the international dealer, say if you send it to us here at Southland in Homewood, or Montgomery, or Tuscaloosa, or our Huntsville locations, when we receive that truck, we will have all of your details ready. We'll have all the complaints and the issues already documented when that truck arrives. Okay? Now, it doesn't require you as a customer to do this with 360. You can simply allow that truck to arrive and you will see the complaints documented at write-up. With 360, once that truck has been received, you will then be able to monitor the progress of your repairs from start to finish. The dealer is going to provide routine updates to you through the portal, and on the flip side of that, you as a customer can request an update through 360. You may say, hey, what's the status of my truck? What did you find? You may ask more details. Okay, I see that you found this. What happened? Why did this break? So you as a customer can ask additional questions through 360. Overall, 360 is going to provide transparent communication between the servicing international dealer and you as the customer in your teams. Anyone with access to this portal can review the notes and the repair status for your truck. So again, you can take a large fleet, you can take a fleet of 2 trucks and be able to monitor that repair status. And anyone on your team that has a login and password, you go into 360 and see the updates and the status. We've already mentioned the ability to view and approve estimates, have documentation of approval of that estimate. So let's look at some example cases again for 360. 1, has my truck arrived at the dealer, or when did it arrive? What complaints were documented when the truck was written up by the service writer? What faults were on the truck or on the health report when it arrived or the arrival scan? Has my truck been triaged or diagnosed? Are we currently waiting on parts or a service bay or a technician? Is there an estimate that needs review or approval? What is the estimated time of completion? Again, as a servicing international dealer, we will tell you once we've diagnosed the truck, we can provide you an estimate of when we expect to have that truck completed. If we're waiting on parts maybe for a day, maybe we order them today, we expect to receive them tomorrow morning, and we have the truck completed tomorrow afternoon, we can advise you as a customer, this is our expected time of completion. You can see again, is your truck ready? It'll simply say in 360 truck is ready. That means it's sitting here on our yard. Once that truck has been delivered, we will mark it as delivered and it will come off of the 360 portal for you as the customer. So if we look at these 2 tools, these primary resources, both OCC, which is OnCommand Connection, and International 360, this allows you as a customer to view and support your entire fleet, all makes, all models. Allow you to be proactive, reduce the number of en route breakdowns. And when there is a breakdown, it's going to allow you and your team to better manage these breakdowns and again have transparency throughout the international network for your repairs. Again, all makes work with both the OCC and International 360 tools. These take your entire fleet, makes them visible, makes the data actionable, and it is transparent. So, any questions up to this point? Again, feel free to shoot me a text. My telephone number there is listed on the bottom of the screen. All right, so let's talk about some additional tools that International has available. The first one is advanced preventive maintenance. This is taking that real-time ECM or engine control module data via the telematics, where we have miles and fuel used. We take that real-time data, and now we're able to provide PM schedule based on performance of the truck. Okay, how many miles you've actually accumulated, and what kind of mileage that miles per gallon that truck is turning to decide when that PM should be completed. No longer using simply mileage in a calendar to schedule those PMs. The second one is fleet health monitoring. So again, we're taking telematic data from OnCommand connection, and we're scheduling and setting up an automated weekly report that is sent to your service teams and your management and ownership for your company. Navistar actively manages this fleet health monitoring tool to decide which faults are pulled and which faults are shown. And again, it gives you metrics for the critical areas of your fleet. And today, those 4 key metrics and fault codes that they are monitoring and putting into these reports, into this weekly report, are things that affect coolant, DEF, DPF, and oil. So low coolant level, high coolant temperature, DEF faults, or DPF soot load faults, or anything revolving around the oil pressure for the engine. Those 4 key areas are put together in one report for your truck. So let's look at a little bit more detail now on the first one, which was advanced preventive maintenance. Again, we're taking data that's coming from telematics and using that data to drive the PM interval recommendations. This also helps to extend the oil life of your truck. In other words, you're not changing the oil too soon. Manufacturers, as we all know, have extended the oil drain intervals on the trucks. This is going to allow you to take advantage of that, while at the same time documenting when you've changed the oil. Okay. So you can reduce your annual PM spend, your annual spending for your preventive maintenance. On the flip side of that, this tool can help also ensure that you are completing your scheduled PMs or your PMs on the proper schedule. So, first off, here's an example of the screen through OCC, and you guys may have a difficulty seeing that, but overall, what you have is the ability to filter your entire fleet by status. Trucks that have a PM coming up due soon, any that are overdue, and overall the amount of fleet that are having the PMs completed on time. You can take this same report and also export that to Excel and even transmit that into your own business system. We can also pull in the PM data into this report showing when the oil was changed and completed. So all of these tools can be utilized separately. Okay, OnCommand connection can stand on its own. Its requirement is that you have a telematics system on your trucks. Okay, International 360 stands on its own. Okay, you can subscribe just to International 360. It doesn't necessarily require that you have a telematics system on your truck, but it is beneficial, okay, because if you're getting that data, that information, that fault information, prior to the truck going in for service. Now, the fleet health monitoring piece and the advanced preventive maintenance, both of those tools are data driven, so they do require telematics to be on your trucks. And those tools, again, they can stand on their own, but you'll need OCC, OnCommand connection, and the telematics piece working in order for advanced preventive maintenance and fleet health monitoring reports to operate. All right. One last piece I'll leave with y'all. First off, thank you for your business and thank you for attending today. One of the things I'd like to let everyone know that's on the call is that we have some standardized email addresses for our service departments across our 4 primary service locations. All of those are the city name 360 at Southland Transportation Group. So if you're sending a truck to Tuscaloosa and you would like to send an email forget 360, forget the other tools, you just want to communicate with our service departments, send an email to Tuscaloosa360 at Southland Transportation Group, and that goes to the key service personnel at our Tuscaloosa location. That works the same for Montgomery, Homewood, and Huntsville. Okay. So again, that email address hits several people within the service department. Okay. Again, thank you all for attending. We appreciate you, appreciate your business, and we appreciate you as a customer. Anybody that has any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My telephone number is listed as well as my email address. So, thank you all, and y'all have a great rest of the week.